You're listening to SM Media, the home of exclusive West of Scotland Football League content. Hi, folks, and welcome to the latest episode of the SM Media West of Scotland Football Show. I'm Scott Pike. It's an absolute pleasure, as always, to be your host. And we have got a later show this week, obviously, just because there's a lot happening midweek, and we've obviously got a lot of games to cover, and we've got a lot of kind of league permutations that happen on Wednesday night. So we've recorded this after the Wednesday night just to get kind of be as up to date as possible. I'm delighted to welcome my special guest in this week's episode, the newest members to the West of Scotland. We did plan on getting you on earlier, but obviously things have worked out. We're on when the season's done, but it's a pleasure to welcome the manager of Knightswood, Michael Pender.
Thanks very much, Scott. Pleasure to be here.
I'm looking forward to this. As I say, obviously, like newest club into the West of Scotland, like joining in the last summer, first season. I remember speaking to somebody at the club early in the season. They said, "Listen, this will all just be about getting to know the league, and then next season's where it starts." It's been a weird season. I don't think you'll be I don't. I think that'll be fair to say. Obviously, in terms of league position, I mean, very, very solid season. Looking at it so far, sitting in 10th place as the season's done. I think that's probably where you're going to probably finish, which I think is a very, very solid campaign. How would you assess it? What's been kind of the thoughts of coming into this new league, and how do you kind of look at it as a whole? The first season in this new pyramid.
Scott, listen, I think you've summed it up perfectly. I think the feeling within the club from the very start last year was one of consolidation. It was things were pretty last minute, getting accepted, getting plans together, a manager in place, a squad in place. So with everything being so last minute, it was very much around consolidating within the league, kind of dipping their toe in and seeing what it was going to be about, what the standard was going to be like, and then really kind of kicking on from there. So listen, the feeling within the club is exactly that. A 10th place finish, very respectable. Because of the kind of lateness of everything that happened, the majority of the squad, the management and the squad that stepped up were from the 20s. So a very young team, but yeah, listen, handled themselves with admiration. And yeah, listen, really looking forward to kicking on next season. But listen, really respectable finish, and we've enjoyed it. It's been a real steep learning curve for us, but one that we've enjoyed.
And it's the end of the season that impresses me as well. Obviously, like some really good results in there. Like obviously beating St Peters in the last day, 4-1 away from home. I imagine that would have felt good. Beating Royal Albert as well, who were a side that were really impressing. Saltcoats home and away. Like there's some really good kind of results in there. Beating BSC. Like there's some real positives to take for the season. Overall, kind of the competitiveness of the league. Like I thought this season it was a really good league in terms of the kind of sides coming down, the sides that have kind of improved. How are you kind of found it, and what's it been like, kind of seeing these kind of teams? And obviously, it's going to get even more competitive next season. We're just looking at kind of teams that are maybe coming down, and there's a lot of teams I think even like similar to yourselves, like just looking at like kind of BSC, Easterhouse. Like there's a lot of sides I think that are going to improve next season.
Listen, I give you 100%. So obviously, this summer will be my first summer in charge. So it's been a spectator for me throughout. Gary stood in the interim when we had the changes near the end of the season and done a fabulous job with Lewis. But you're totally right. We've been really impressed. Seen quite a few of the games. Really impressed with Glenvale, and massive congratulations to them. Strong team, done in the right way. Great captain, really good leadership, and worthy winners. Same with Thorn going up, third place still in the balance. But yeah, really strong. But as you say as well, there's another block of clubs for finishing this season. Giffnock, East Kilbride, St Peters, ourselves, Broomhill. Now Broomhill have had a really strong end of the season as well. So I think it's going to be really tough. Easterhouse and ourselves. Again, yeah, they're finishing very similar, so it's going to be tough. You're also going to have some really strong teams coming down into the league
Yeah.
as well. So it'll be great to see the back of the likes of Glenvale and Thorn and that with the greatest respect. However, we're going to be left with really strong teams still in there, either Lugar or Rossvale.
Mhm.
You've got Giffnock as well, and then a couple of teams coming down. So the standard's actually been really good. I know it's the fourth division, and some people are maybe turning their noses up at it a little bit. But yeah, listen, we've been really impressed. I think one of the biggest things for me has been the level of professionalism clubs have been trying to display, and the hospitality shown's been second to none. We've been given a really good welcome as a club. So yeah, listen, it's left us all excited for the year ahead.
And like, obviously that kind of is paramount about the five divisions. They've all been so competitive, and we'll kind of get your overall thoughts in the fourth division when we kind of touch on it later on in the show. We have to start the podcast obviously by congratulating the Premier Division champions Bees. They secured the title on Saturday. Again, 2 seasons in a row, Straney has just pulled out this magnificent achievement. He's got a very, very good side. I cannot speak highly enough about Bees' rise over the past 2 seasons. Winning that league 2 seasons in a row. People thought in the summer, I probably was one of them as well. I did think they'd be competitive. I did think, I said they've lost a big player. It's going to be hard to replace those goals. And then he brings in Kieran Diver, who I think was I think it's better than Josh Fowler. I think it's been a better fit for that squad. I think the squad is just perfectly balanced. I really think this is a brilliant achievement, and hats off to Straney and everyone at Beath.
Yeah, I don't think you can underestimate winning the Premier 2 years in a row. Really good challenge, and again, fantastic from Clydebank yet again. Just falling short, and they'll be kicking themselves over some of the points they'll have looked at. They've dropped maybe when there wasn't a need. And a great challenge in there from Talbot as well. But yeah, listen, huge congratulations to Beath, thoroughly deserved champions, and a fantastic achievement.
I know I'm going to sound controversial here. I think this Beef team deserve the chance to go up. I think it's a nonsense that they can't. But again, that's obviously something way above us to kind of summarise. But
Yeah,
again, I look at I look at like Broxburn or Dalbeattie who's going to go up, and I would say Bede would give a good account of themselves there. Bede would probably beat them. So I'm gutted for them that they're not going to be able to go up. I hope that is something that can be rectified. Again, I think it's difficult for the West, obviously, because this has been the third season in a row that no team for the West is going to go up. And again, it makes the West of Scotland more competitive. So I don't think a lot of people are complaining, but I think the champions deserve that chance to go up. It's just obviously difficult that they can't. But yeah, full congratulations to Beath. And I think as well, we've got to give a mention to the teams that ran them close. Clydebank, Auchinleck, and Caddocks. I think Lags have had a phenomenal season. Like,
yeah.
I think that's the eye-catching position. Tucker for where Talbot were at the start of the season to get them into third, I think's massive. And you've got Pollock as well, who obviously had a difficult spell. Like, the league has just been so competitive this year, and looking at that kind of top six, and we'll obviously touch on another club in a moment. I think that's for Beath to win that by 6 points, I think it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a really strong, again, as you say, and you look at that top 6, 7 clubs, and Caddock's in there, Talbot, Lars, as you say, really strong team. Pollock, obviously rebuilding in there and going again. Fantastic. But yeah, I don't think you can underestimate just how well Beath have done to win that league, and by that margin as well.
Obviously, Darvel, I've got a cup final coming up at the start of June. They've obviously won the West of Scotland Cup. And Tony McInally is no longer Darvel manager now. I have spoken to people on both sides of the situation. One side has said that Tony was sacked. One side said that Tony left. That's all we're going to say on it because I am not taking a side. Again, you hear two different stories. All I'm going to say is on it, Tony has done remarkable at Darvel this season. Like, he has done a really, really good job, and he deserved the opportunity to take the side into the cup final, and that's all I'm saying. But again, there's way more to this that we don't know about and probably never going to know about. So it's a difficult one to touch on. All I'm going to say is to Tony, well done in the job at Darvel, and you will be back in the game, no problem, whenever you're ready. And I think it's a difficult situation just to kind of really going into a final, a massive occasion for the club, and this sort of thing happens a few weeks. It's not great.
it's no great preparation, is it? I'm sure the players listen. I'm sure the players kind of changing them. There'll be a couple of big leaders in there, and they'll come out and do you know what? Might even come out firing maybe extra bit in their bellies. But yeah, listen, Tony's done a great job down there since stepping in, and as you say, listen, he'll be back in the game whenever he sees fit. So yeah, listen, well done, Tony, and I'm sure the boys will handle the cup final as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Into the kind of relegation battle. It took a bit of a turn last night. Michael, I think this could be very exciting. The final kind of couple of games we've got. Glenafton obviously is still in 13th. They are on 30 points. They lost to St Cadoc's on Tuesday night. Kirkintilloch, Rob Roy and Atherley both needed wins to keep themselves in the hunt, and they got them. Atherley beat Hurl for 2-1 on Wednesday night, and then Rob Roy beat Benburb. And it's very, very interesting going into the final set. Glenafton still have played a game less. So looking at Saturday, Glenafton get a win, they're safe. So Glenafton need to get a win out the last two games. They play Cumnock at home, then play Darvel at home. Rob Roy play Lags, Atherley play Bees. Glenafton are obviously still in the driving seat, but it is very, very exciting to see how this ends up.
It's a great end to the season. Maybe not for the clubs involved, but it's exactly what you're looking for if you're a neutral. It's exciting. It's been exciting at both ends of the table. Some really strong performances. Massive one last night for Atherley. But obviously a really strong, really tough remaining fixture over at home. Saturday, it'll be a tough one with Beath, whether the league's wrapped up or not. That's going to be a really tough one. Yeah, listen, it's still in their own hands, but yeah, listen, it's going to be a tough end of the season no matter who, and whoever's stepping down into the first, you're going to have a bumper team coming into the first next year, aren't you?
Yeah, and it just makes that league even more competitive. Let's move into the first. Actually, congratulations, Drumchapel are up as champions. Johnson Borough joined them in second as well. Massive congratulations to them. It's looking like Shotts are in the driving seat to be third. They've got 3 games left. They're 2 points ahead of Ashfield. Ashfield and Rutherglen would need Shotts to lose all their games and win the last game. I don't see that happening based on what Shotts have done. Shotts' next game is away to Blantyre. If they get that, they're up. And again, massive congrats to Drumchapel and Johnston. Those are two sides who are going to be forces next season in the top flight.
Listen, definitely. Obviously, Drumchapel been very close to herself. Done a great job there, and thoroughly deserved to go up as champs as well. Murdy's come in at Johnson Borough and just seen it over the line. So it's some amazing work done by Jamie and the guys down there for the last 6 years, taking that club and transforming it. But Murdy coming in is just listen, he's got a part to play in that as well. A great run to the end and get them up. But as you say, listen, you've got to imagine now it's in Shotts' own destiny, isn't it? And a couple of games to get over the line. Great challenge in there as well by Ashfield. Michael and the team have put a great challenge in there as well and just come up short by the looks of things. So yeah, listen, 3 really strong teams coming up, but Drumchapel and Johnson Borough getting into next season going to be massive for the Premier.
If you watched our prediction show at the start of the season, I actually had Shotts finishing at the other end of the table. So I am willing to own that. I think, though, in my defence, I think this league is so competitive. I think you could literally put any 3 teams in, you would be wrong. I think John deserves massive praise for even being in that position to challenge. And if they go up, that is a monumental achievement for that club.
I would say so, yeah, I'd agree 100%.
What about this other side of the table? So just looking at the bottom of the table, Cambuslang and Maybole, it looked to be a crunch tie. Cambuslang had to win it. They won 4-1 away from home. Godson Neche got a hat-trick for Cambuslang. Maybole would have been safe if they had beat Johnson. They lost, and obviously midweek it was Johnson secured promotion. It's now down to the final games. Maybole have got an extra game. Just looking at the games, Cambuslang play Petershill, Drumchapel play Maybole. I think just looking at it, Cambuslang need to win that. So again, Cambuslang, it's in Maybole's favour. Obviously, with the 2 points in the extra game, Cambuslang are going to have to beat Petershill and hope they get a bit of help in the last 2 games. And it's not impossible. I mean, the league is so bizarre that nothing's ever simple in this league. So, but it is down to those two. Renfrew are safe. It is down to them.
Yes, I agree. And I think your point earlier was exactly right. There's that many teams in that league, all capable of taking points. You are unsure how exactly what it's going to play out, but yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough finish for them again, as you say. Listen, Maybole having to travel to Drumchapel as champions. I'm sure they'll be wanting to put on a show in their home game. And again, Cambuslang coming up at home against a strong Petershill. So it'll be an interesting finish.
Let's move into the second division. Obviously, Ardrossan clinched the championship in impressive fashion, winning 5-4 at home to Caledonian Locomotives. Again, if you've seen Ryan Wilson's goal, have a look at it. It's unbelievable. Vale of Clyde and Cumbernauld joined them as well. And again, I think I will admit in the predictions I got those three teams right, so I'm happy with that. But those three teams, I think, again, those sides are coming up to the first division. I mean, it's going to be frightening next season, but all three of those sides have been brilliant this season.
Listen, I think when you look at what's coming up from the second and then what's coming down from the Premier, I think the first is going to be a hell of a league next year to be competing in.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I mean, full credit to all three managers for the job they've done there. I think there's a few sides below them who've got the kind of potential to improve. I'll look at the likes of Caledonian, who've just come up short this season. Maryhill, Kilsyth, Larkhall, Muirkirk, they've all had really good seasons. And then you've got kind of some other sides as well, St Anne's, Yoker, Forth, Bonneton. Like, I think they can all kick on next season. And again, I think the second division deserves a lot of mention as well. And it's a really good league as well.
Listen, I think there'll be some strength going in there. Mark at Maryhill's building a good team, a young team there, and a lot of potential. I think they'll be looking to kick on next year. They'll have aspirations of trying to push up, as you say, the same as the Ants, Yoker as well. Listen, another really strong, tough league. Especially look at that kind of top 9-10 clubs. I think it's going to be a real battle in there again next year.
Yeah, absolutely. The bottom of the table, obviously, we did get confirmation. Glasgow Perthshire and Glasgow Uni are down. Wishaw need to win all three games and hope either Bonnet or Craigmart don't get a point in the last game. Wishaw are certainly making a good go of this. Like looking at their results so far, they've won the last four. If they win the last three, and hopefully, kind of for them, luck's on their side, they could do this, and I think that would be an unbelievable achievement if they're even to get it. Looking at the last three games, away to Cumbernauld, home to Forth, away to Larkhall, win all three, and hope either Bonnet or Craigmart don't pick anything up in the last game. I think it'd be an unbelievable achievement if they were able to stay safe. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. So I think if I'm right in saying that, I think Craigmart are at home to Bonton in the last game, aren't they?
Yes,
On
I think
Saturday.
you're right. Actually, yeah, you are right.
That's
So
going to be really interesting. So even if they get
yeah,
the wins, the best it's going to do is take them on to probably 33 with at least one of the two teams. So they'd need quite a swing in their goal difference. So I think
it's an
it's going to
uphill
be a miracle.
battle.
It's going to be a miracle for them now, innit? So, but listen, we've seen stranger things happen, but it's going to be quite a turnaround in the goal difference
Well,
for them.
what they're probably wanting, what I would just be looking at the table, what I imagine Wishaw wanting, I think they're wanting Bonneton to take a few goals off Craigmark. That's probably the only way looking at that. I didn't even see that Bonneton play Craigmark. That happens and Wishaw get win, it's probably doable, but again, there's a 12-goal swing even going to need to come there, and I think they'll want Bonneton to win that game without a doubt. Like a draw is a nightmare for both.
I think, and as you say, I think Wishaw away to Cumbernauld in the last game. So a really tough ask against a top team.
Yeah.
So getting anything there will be good going. But they've been a good run, picking up a couple of wins. But I think I think it might be a step too far for them.
Yeah, I think it will be as well. Just looking at it there. Yeah, let's move into the third division. Congratulations to Darrell and Lanark for getting their points. 60 points for 27 games. They're up as champions. I think Lanark have been superb this season, and I remember Darrell being on the show at the start of the season, and I think from there, I think we've been a pretty good omen because I think they've won like 18 of their 20 games for there or something. He said the other day, so I think we've done all right. I think that's good for you for next season.
I was just going to say, listen, if you're telling me that's 18 out of the next 20 for next season, I'll take that. I'll take that, Scott.
Yeah, they've been very good though. Like they've been so. I mean, like we've been doing obviously the team of the season and like looking at some of the players they've been in the league in particular. They've been superb.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, really again, strong end of the table. Absolutely awesome for Fanart as well coming up and through. Looking kind of finished top 4-5 is going to be excellent. The Vale in there as well with Greenock. Again, another really strong team. But listen, Lanark are a great team, and with Leslie Hagel and Bellshill up there as well. Yeah, it's another really strong group of teams coming up and pushing on again.
Looking at who could join them in the second division next season, Les Mahego certainly have the kind of hold all the aces. They've got 3 games to play. They've been in a really good run as well. I think they've won the last 6. I think they're unbeaten in the last 9. and they look likely to go up as well. It's probably between Bellshill and Threave. I think Fanat will need a lot of luck if they would need to win the last game and hope that Bellshill get a bit of a bad result in theirs. But it's between probably Bellshill and Threave. Threave have got the extra game. They've got the goal difference. It's again very exciting promotion. I think Les Mahego got it in the bag though.
I think so. I think so. And they've got listen, it won't be easy going to Kello, obviously, last game of the season for their boys as well. So they'll be looking to finish well. But yeah, I think they'll be fancying their chances of trying to pick up three there and just consolidate in second place.
Yeah.
So massive friend. But yeah, listen, another exciting end to the finish for the Bellshill and Threave as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Down at the bottom end, Ardea have got 3 games in hand. They're level in points with Port Glasgow, who've played a game more. Ardea have 27 games, Port Glasgow 28. Girvan have 29. So again, it is between Girvan, Port Glasgow, and Ardea. And just looking at the fixtures, it's going to be interesting just to see how wins. Girvan play Kilsyth. They'll be looking to win that. I think Kilsyth are probably safe, just looking at the table. And it's going to be interesting. Like I wouldn't call that at the moment. I think there's still a lot of football to be played. Ardea will need to help their goal difference, and it's again big permutations. Ardea would have been probably gutted they didn't win on Wednesday night. Kilsyth got a big result. Obviously, I think gets them. I think 34 points. I think is safe actually, and I think that's going to be a very interesting end to the season.
I think so. Listen, really tough one for on Saturday for Port having to travel to Bellshill. When listen, anything taking anything there will be enough to kind of push them out the trouble, I think. But it's going to be a real tough one for them. But listen, another really exciting end to the season, as you say, between Ardea and Port. And yeah, listen, I think you're saying Kilsyth are right. I think you're saying they'll be safe. But yeah, an interesting finish for the 12th, 13 or 14th place as well.
And at the fourth division, obviously, we had confirmation Glenville are up as champions, Thorn are up as well for next season. They're two sides that can kick on as well, aren't they?
Definitely, 100%. Doing things in the right manner as well. Really good club. We've been seen a lot of Thorn at the development side of things as well. Great club, great coaches, and putting a lot of right good blocks in place to build on. So I think they're going to go on and be really strong. A fantastic team as well.
Yeah, and in third place, if Lugar are able to get a win against Glenville, then they go up, they join them as well. If Lugar aren't able to pick anything up, Rossvale need to win the last game. Giffnock are still there with a slim chance, but again, Lugar hold all the aces again in that for that third
I
spot.
think. I think so. It's going to be a tough one, and if I'm right in saying, I think Rossvale are home to Kilbride on Saturday,
Yeah,
so that'll be a tough game as well. There'll be nothing, no inches given there. So yeah, I think it's looking strong for Lugar, but again, if it is Rossvale say down, they'll be fancying themselves really strongly for next season straight away.
yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of sides that I think are going to be very strong next season. I include you in that. I kind of look at everybody to be honest. Like Eglinton, I've said they've been very very good lately. You've got BSC are in good form. Easterhouse, Royal Albert. There's so many teams in that division. I think that can kick on next season. And again, we've said it already. It's going to be very competitive next year.
I really think it will. A lot of the teams he's Kilbride already strengthening, looking into the development leagues and trying to secure a lot of the boys that are coming up for 20s, which is a good strategy. We'll be doing the same. We'll be looking to bring in from within the club as well and show that the pathway is working properly. But listen, there's probably 8 or 9 teams in there already just now who'll be sitting quietly confident that they can make a mark on it next year and be challenging.
Yeah, and looking obviously at next season for yourselves, obviously, what is the kind of thoughts over the summer? It's obviously going to be a big summer for you, indeed. Obviously, taking
Yeah.
over the job. What are you kind of looking at? Like, what is the kind of hopes going into the summer and kind of like recruitment? And you said a lot of boys to 20s. There's a lot of teams in that division who obviously kind of use their 20s and things like that. So, what is your kind of hopes going into the summer in terms of kind of kicking on to next season?
Yeah, Scott, we've been really fortunate that when we had the change in management, we lost a lot of the players as well. We were fortunate that the 4 or 5 that we did keep that were involved in the first team, a couple of the younger boys as well, fantastic players, really good attitude and good ethic. We'll look to try and strengthen, bring in a couple of loans as well from contacts we've got. But there's probably down to the pathway again, Scott. That's the whole thing that the club was built on. So
Yeah,
it'll be a case of looking within. We've got a good amateur team. We've got the 20 set up, and we've got other teams coming up from within as well. This year's 06 is a really good team, great management and coaches as well. We've built a really strong team round about me already. couple of good coaches, a couple of good assistants, and we'll look to bring in a bit of experience. That's probably the one thing that we felt the young boys could do with last year, was just an extra bit of experience. And trying to get that is no easy in this division, as you can imagine, but a bit of experience to help them in the game situation, just help with game management. But we're looking forward, really excited for it. Got a good pre-season lined up, and our hopes will be to be in there competing. And listen, improving on this year's finish. As you say, it looks like we'll probably finish in 10th, and it'll be to make an improvement in that and kick on.
Michael, we can only wish you all the best for the season ahead, and thank you very much indeed for joining me in this week's episode. I've thoroughly enjoyed your company.
You too. Thanks very much for having us,
Scott.
Thank
you very much, folks. And thank you very much to everyone that's tuned in. And we will be back next week. We'll have a bit of a special episode next week where we'll kind of do something a bit different. But stay tuned for that, folks. Thank you very much.